Pravin Gordhan was born on 12 April 1949 to Rumbaben and Gordhan in Durban, in the then Natal province. He matriculated from Sastry College in 1967. At age 22, in 1971, Gordhan took his first steps as a political activist when he joined what was then known as the Natal Indian Congress. 2 years later, in 1973, he graduated from the University of Durban-Westville with a bachelor's degree in pharmacy. 1974 would prove crucial for the young activist on both a personal and professional level. That year, he completed his internship as a pharmacist at the King Edward VIII Hospital. He was also selected to serve on the executive committee of the Natal Indian Congress. For the next 7 years, he continued to play both roles until the Natal Provincial Administration abruptly fired him in 1981 for his political activities. At the time of his dismissal, he was in detention. He was eventually released in 1982, but was immediately placed under a banning order. This order lapsed in 1983, which allowed him to travel to Cape Town in August that year to attend the launch of a United Democratic Front in Rocklands, Mitchell's Plain. In 1985, Gordhan was back behind bars. This time, he and fellow activists of the Natal Indian Congress were charged under Section 29 of the Internal Security Act. After his release, he went underground in 1986. He then remained in hiding until 1990. This would prove yet another landmark year for him as he got married to Vanita Raj. The couple went on to have a daughter, who they named Anisha. The following year, Gordhan formed part of a joint Natal and Transvaal Indian Congress team to help prepare the convention of a democratic South Africa, commonly known as CODESSA. There, he was appointed co-chairperson of the Transitional Executive Council of a steering committee that organized CODESSA 1. In 1993, Gordhan was appointed to the planning committee of the multi-party negotiation process. A year later, after the country held its first democratic elections, Gordhan was among the first group of anti-apartheid activists to take up their seats as members of parliament. That same year, he was elected onto the Central Committee of the South African Communist Party. In 1996, he was elected chairperson of the Constitutional Committee. Its core responsibility was to provide oversight over the implementation of the new constitution. Later that year, Gordhan joined millions of South Africans as the country witnessed its then President Nelson Mandela sign the constitution into law. 2 years later, in 1998, Gordhan relinquished his seat as an MP as he was appointed Deputy Commissioner of the South African Revenue Service. In 1999, he became Commissioner, a position he went on to hold for 10 years. Recently, former SA Ambassador to the United States, Sheila Sisulu, spoke glowingly of Gordhan's tenure at SARS.
He didn't work at SARS. He fixed SARS and made it work. It was later that it was virtually destroyed. But wherever he worked in government, he made sure that things worked, and they worked correctly and worked well.
In 2009, former President Jacob Zuma appointed Gordhan to his first cabinet position, that of Finance Minister. He served in this position until 2014, when he was then appointed as the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. His stint at COCTA was short-lived though. Zuma reappointed him Finance Minister in December 2015, a position he held until March 2017, when he took over his last post in Cabinet, as Minister of Public Enterprises. It was in this position where Nishan Bolton, the Executive Director of the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation, believes Gordhan proved to be the epitome of integrity.
His last portfolio, as Minister of Public Enterprises, picking up public enterprises and on all of the state institutions which had been decimated by state capture. In my view, I think he achieved quite a number of successes. And some of it we are now beginning to see, the turnaround of SAA, the stabilization of Tenure, the stabilization of Transnet, are all work which I think began under his tenure. But other people have mixed views on his accomplishments there, particularly at Eskom. But overall, the epitome of integrity is how I would want Pravin to be understood by the South African public at large.
Gordhan announced that he would not return to public office following the 29 May national and provincial elections. He is survived by his wife and daughter.